Good morning, students. Today we will discuss the topic weather and climate of chapter number 4, air, from your geography sections, right? Till now we have discussed the composition of the atmosphere and the structure of the atmosphere, correct? Now there are some phenomena which are related to the atmosphere, and in which the most important is weather and climate. In local language, we use these two terms in similar manners. What is weather? What is climate? Both are the same, right? But in real term, they are quite different from each other. What do you mean by weather and climate? And what are the factors which affect the weather and climate of any region, right? So we are going to discuss all these uh, topics. Now, first is weather and climate. As I told you that there is a difference between the weather and a climate. Suppose it is sunny day. This time outside it is a sunny day. After some time or by the evening, there will be clouds in the sky. As it is going from past 2 to 3 days, in the evening there is a cloudy day, and at the night it began to rainfall, right? So when it is called weather, which is changing by the time, by day to day, right? Sometime it can be shiny, and after some time or after 1 or 2 days, after 1 week, after 1 month, it can be rainy. So this is called weather, right? Which can be changed hour to hour and day to day. So weather is the hour to hour and day to day conditions of the atmosphere, correct? And climate, what do you mean by climate? Climate is when some weathering conditions are prevailing over a place for a long time, that is called climate, right? When the average weathering conditions are prevailing over a space for a long time, that is called climate. Suppose like India have we considered 4 seasons in a year. In every year there is a summer season for 4 months. There is, after the summer season, there is a rainy season of 4 months. After the rainy season, the winter seasons come, that is also of 4 months, like that, right? So this pattern is occurred frequently from the last long years ago, right? So climate are the sum total of weathering conditions which are prevailing over a place for a long time, at least 30 years, right? So these are the weathering conditions which are prevailing at least for past 30 years over a space. From the past 30 years, India is experiencing in fact more than 30 years, but at least from the last 30 years India is experiencing same climate. There is summer, after then there is monsoons, right, rainy season, and then winter season. This is prevailing each and every year in the India. So that is called climate. But weather can be changed hour to hour. Suppose is it this time it's shining, but after few minutes it can be changed, it can be some cloudy. So that is called weather. Now you are able to understand the difference between the weather and climate. But the factors which affect the weather and the climate, they are same. The first important factor is known as temperature, right? And that's why we when the forecasting is displayed in at your TV screen, that is called daily weather forecast, because it keeps on changing on the daily basis, correct? So first is temperature, which affect the weather and climate of any region. Temperature means hotness of anything, right? When we measure the hotness of anything, that is called its temperature, like your body temperature. when you feel hot, when you feel some warm, more than normal condition in your body, that is called their temperature is there, right? You are having or we are having fever, right? So to measure this temperature we use thermometer, correct? So we use the thermometer to measure the hotness of any body. So that is called temperature. The degree of hotness, 1 minute. The degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. Clear? Now, temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between the day but at the night also, and season to season it also varies. Day temperature is higher than the night temperature. Similarly, summers have more temperature than the winter temperature. So there is a changing atmospheric temperature is keep on changing between day and night, and season to season it can be vary. Now, most important term associated with the temperature is insolation. Insolation means, if we break this word, in means coming, solar means solar, and last is radiation. Means insolation is the incoming solar radiation which absorbed by the earth, which are received by the earth. So insolation is the incoming solar radiation which is received by the earth. That is called insolation. When the sun shines, the sun rays falls on the earth's surface, and the earth received only 1 upon 2 crores part of the sun's energy, and this radiation which is coming from the sun to the surface of the earth, that is known as insolation. Correct? So the amount of insolation decreases from the, remember it, the insolation amount decreases from the equator to towards the poles. Why? Because our earth is in the form of sphere, and the sun rays falls directly at the equator, correct? So the sun rays falls directly at the equator. That's why the equator area receives more insolation. As we go far from the equator, the sun's rays inclined. So that's why these areas receive less rain, less temperature than the equator, correct? So equator have maximum temperature and polar region have the lowest temperature. That's why poles are always covered with the ice, correct? So when the temperature decreases, so the all the things will be covered in the ice form. Because in degrees, if we measure the temperature in degrees Celsius, according to that, the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius and boiling is 100 degrees Celsius. Because at the poles the temperature is below 0 degree, even minus 30, minus 40 degrees Celsius, so all the places are covered with the snow. If the earth's temperature rises too high, what would happen? It would become too warm to some crops to grow, because every crops need a particular temperature. They can be grown in a particular type of climate. So if the temperature will increases, so many crops we will not able to grow. Similarly, the temperature in cities are more in than the villages. Why? First of all, in the villages there are greenery more than cities. Secondly, in the villages the houses are built by the grasses or raw material, but in the cities the buildings are made up of concrete, cement, bricks. etc. When the insulation comes, these material, these roads, this concrete material of building absorb the heat in during the day, but it cannot release the heat during the night. So that's why the crowded high-rise building of the cities trap the warm air and thus raise the temperature of the cities. Clear? So in the villages, in no doubt, in the modern time, the villages are also keep on changing. But in the ancient time or in the some past years before, the villages, the houses in the villages are made up of cow dung because it keeps them cool. They do not absorb the heat of the sun, right? So they do not allow the sun heat to come in the hut. That's why they are making, and they are made by the cow dung or the straw or all that. But the buildings which are made by the concrete, cement and bricks, they absorb more and more heat, and it cannot be escaped by the buildings in the night. So they keep the buildings more warmer than the in the rural areas. Now the second factor which is most important associated with the climate and weather, that is air pressure. Air pressure, air have some pressure also. You can you can experience it by a small experiment. Suppose there is a tub which is full of water, correct? Take a mug and put it into it like that, right? The open side must be below. Put the mug into the tub with the pressure of your hand. It will take more pressure to go inside the water. When it go inside the water, you will see there is a pressure. You have to put more pressure. When you will put out it back, there will be a boiling because the pressure of air took the water with it, right? So it is shows us that there is a pressure of air, right? Similarly, every body have the pressure. So this pressure counter the body pressure. That's why we can exist on the surface of the earth, right? So we do not even feel it, but we can feel it by this example. Do it in at your home. This is because the air pressure. And why we do not feel it in normal conditions? Because the air presses us from all the sides and our body exerts a counter pressure on it. So air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of air on the earth's surface. How much weight is created by the air on the earth's surface is known as air pressure, and this air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. Means if we go higher from the sea level, that will that will decrease. So horizontally distribution of air, that is called vertical because we are going vertically. Suppose it is sea level, the air pressure, if we place a pillar with full of air, the air pressure is higher at the sea level than at the height. Suppose this is 2000 meter height. Same pillar is exerting the pressure on this level, it will be lower. That's why when we go to the mountainous areas, the oxygen level became less and we feel more pressure than the earth. Plane area, sorry, horizon, that is called vertical because that is height wise. Now horizontal distribution of air pressure is influenced by the temperature of air at a given place. Same horizontal place, suppose this is a 15 degree latitude, right? So the pressure is on this area, on this area, on this area. So all these areas are placing horizontally on the 50-degree latitude. That will be called horizontal distribution of air pressure, and it is influenced by the temperature of air at a given place, because these places have experiencing the different type of temperature, and according to the temperature their air distribution will be diverse. If the temperature is high, how it will be diverse? Because if the temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises, correct? If the temperature is high, the air will rises, it will become lighter, and when it will rises and become lighter, it exert low pressure area. It means temperature and pressure is the reverse relationship. If the temperature is high, the pressure will be low. Why? Because if the temperature goes higher, the air gets heated and it began to rise. So it became lighter and the pressure exerted by the air will be low. On the contrast, the temperature will be down, then the pressure will be high, because if the temperature will down, the air will cool. The air will cool, it became more dense and heavier, right? So it will create more pressure. Then if the temperature is decreasing, the pressure will be increasing. That's why when the temperature is high, first is the reverse relationship between temperature and pressure. Always remember. Second thing, if the temperature is high, the air is rising. Correct? The air is rising from the surface. When it is rising, it will contain some water particles with it, and it forms the clouds. Right? No doubt the pressure will be decreased, but in the low pressure area, if now we can say in the low pressure area is associated with cloudy sky or wet weather, because when the air rises, it keeps some water vapors in it. Due to the high temperature, the air is thirsty, it will contain more and more water, and when it rise up, it became condensed at the top of the atmosphere, and it forms the clouds. Clear? On the contrast, if the temperature is low, the air will sink down. Clear? So the air is sink down because air is cold. So heavy air sinks and they create high pressure area. So high pressure areas are the areas with clear sky, because it is now clear. So clear and sunny sky shows the pressure is higher. And the air, when the air moves, no doubt if there is no movement in the air, we cannot recognize it, because it does not have any smell, any odor, anything, right? But if it is moving, then we can we call it wind, and then we can experience it. So the air move from the high temperature area to low temperature area. Similarly, like the water flows from high slope to low slope. Same here, the wind move high temperature to low temperature area. Correct? So these are the terms associated with the air pressure, which is very useful to define the climate or weathering conditions in any area. The third is wind. As I told you, when the air begin to move from high pressure to low pressure area, it is called wind, right? So wind can be seen. or experienced or feel by its work. When the wind blows, some feel is there, and when it is blowing some speedily, then it will contain some dry leaves, dust particles with it, which can be seen, right? Similarly, 2 days before there was a storm. And you can see that the some of the dry leaves drawn down from the trees. Some trees are uprooted, so it is showing that wind is blowing. Some smoke or fine dust are also associated when the wind is blowing. So here you can also there is an experiment also by you can recognize the wind when you are cycling. When you are doing cycling, when the wind is stable, then you can uh, drive the cycle very easily. But when the wind is coming from the opposite direction, then you have to make some more pressure on the cycle to drive it. But if the wind is blowing in your direction, you can easily manage the cycle, right? So that is a experiment by which you can recognize or feel the wind. Now, wind can be broadly divided into three types. First is permanent winds. Permanent winds, as its name suggests, they blow constantly throughout the year in a particular direction. They do not change their direction. Such type of winds are called trade winds, westerlies, and easterlies. What are these winds? Look at the diagram. Here is a diagram. According to the temperature condition, there is a diverse pressure areas, and we divided these pressure belts into 7 groups. The first belt is low pressure belt at the equator. After then, there is a tropical high pressure belt, again subpolar low pressure, again high pressure. Similarly, in the southern hemisphere, after the equatorial low pressure belt, there is a tropical high pressure, subpolar low pressure, and high pressure. Now remember, wind moves from high pressure to low pressure. Now this is tropical high pressure. So winds move from high pressure to low pressure, right? So subtropical region to equatorial region, but they move from the northeast direction. Here you can see the arrows, they are coming from northeast direction, right? And in the southern hemisphere, their direction is southeast. They are coming from southeast, right? Again, here is high pressure and the subpolar low pressure. So the winds from subtropical to subpolar low pressure, now they are coming from western side, है ना? This is the western side, so they are coming from the western sides, and that's why they are known as westerlies. They are called westerlies. Similarly, in the southern hemisphere, they are coming from the western side and known as westerlies. After that, there is a low pressure, subpolar low pressure, and high pressure on the poles. So the wind moves from high pressure to low pressure, and they are coming from the eastern side, and these type of winds are known as polar easterlies. Similarly, in the northern hemisphere, they are coming from the northeastern side, and they are right. Change their direction, they blows in the same direction in each and every year. So these three types of winds are called permanent winds. Second, seasonal winds. Seasonal winds change their direction in different seasons, like monsoons in India. They comes from the southwest. We call it southwest monsoon because they come from the southwestern side, and in the winter they blow from the eastern side, so they change their direction seasonally. The third is local winds. They can be blown for some days or for a month. In the summer, we experienced in the month of June. In the month of May and June, we experience very hot, dry winds. That is called locally Lu. Right, in the different part of the world they are known as a Chinook or all that names. They are given in different regions of the world. Similarly, land and sea bridges. Here is a case study. You will read about the cyclones. The cyclones are generated where there is a more low pressure area. The winds from the high pressure area comes towards this low pressure area, and there is a cyclonic formation. The winds keep on moving in this form. That is called like cyclone. They have great speed, so the winds up to 200 600 260 kilometer per hour can be seen in the cyclones. Such type of cyclones occurs in the Bay of Bengal, and the coastal areas are experiencing more destruction due to the cyclones. Right, like now these days Yas storm is occurring, right? So in the West Bengal, this is also a type of cyclone which is the name given to its Yas, right? So when these storms came, there are three main factors can be seen. First is wind velocity, second rain, and tidal surge. When the cyclones generate, the wind velocity increases. In the October 7, 29 October 99, there is a cyclone in Odisha in which the wind velocity increases to 260 kilometer per hour. So everything which will come into the path of wind, it will be uprooted, whether it is houses or trees or anything, industrial shed, whatever, right? The heavy rain is also associated with the cyclones. When the heavy rains occurs, the rivers overflowed. There is a flood in the coastal areas due to the cyclonic. Third, when the cyclonic winds came, they rise up the sea waves, and that is called tidal waves, and it could be at the height of 7 to 10 meter high, and these waves spread into the surrounding area, and all the area, trees, buildings are submerged into the water. So this is a cyclonic formation. The last is moisture. Moisture, it have three parts: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. When the dry air moves over the surface of the water body, it contains water along with it. That is called evaporation. By the evaporation, the wind contains some water vapor, and it is also called moisture, right? So moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. In the rainy season, we call that our clothes are not drying, even the fan is switched on, all that, because there is a humid air. The air have water vapor. That's why it cannot dry our clothes. But in the summer, in the May and June, the clothes are dried very frequently because the air is hot and dry. It absorbs the water from the clothes because it has no water. So when it blows over the clothes, it absorbs the water from the clothes, and our clothes get drier very easily and in the short period of time. Correct? So how much water, like if you are eating, then when you are hungry you will eat very frequently. One or two chapati you will eat very frequently, but when you will eat one or two chapatis, your stomach will be little bit filled down, and when you will take the third one, fourth one, after four chapati, you are saturated. Now you have no capacity to take more chapati. That situation is called saturation, right? Similarly, air is thirsty. It will contain the water vapor very frequently when it is hot and dry. But when it contained the water vapor, began to become saturated. When it contains the full capacity of water vapor, then it will be saturated, right? If the temperature suddenly increases, what will happen? The increased temperature uh, cause the air drier and hot, and its capacity will be arises, right? So this also uh, happened in the atmosphere, so that is called evaporation. When the water vapor rises with the air at the top, temperature is decreasing, it began to condense, and this condensed portion is known as cloud, right? So when these clouds are floating in the air, but if these clouds have the full capacity of water vapor, they do not have to restore it in them, so they will drop these water vapor, and that is called rainfall, precipitation, right? So this type of condensation can be seen when the jet planes flying in the sky, and there is a white trail behind them, because when the moisture from their engines condenses, and we can see the trails of the clouds like formation after the jet planes. Precipitation is also of three types. First is cyclonic rainfall. We already discussed in the Odisha content, when the rainfall occurs during the cyclonic depression area, that is called cyclonic rainfall. Second is called orographic rainfall. When the air moves along with the top of the hill, what will happen? It will contain the moisture, but when it reach at the top, it could not hold the water vapor, and it will drop it. So that will known as orographic rainfall. When the air is rising up at the hilltop, it will become cooler when it reach at the top. When it is rising, it is carrying the moisture. When it reached at the top, it began to condense and it dropped the water. That is called orographic rainfall. The third is convectional rainfall. Same phenomena. The air near the surface is warm, right? The warm air, when it passes on the water bodies, it contains water vapor. When it came to the high temperature area, it began to rise, containing water vapor. When it reached at the top, it became cool down, and the water will be condensed, and it cause rainfall. That is called convectional rainfall. Now the chapter has been completed. If you have any doubt, you can ask now.